Okay, hi there guys. It has been a long time since I posted videos. So I'm back now and hopefully I'll be able to post a video every week or worst case scenario every 2 weeks. So one of the questions, one of the common questions I got is that people want to link to database different than access. So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to connect to different types of databases. The principle is always the same and you can always use the designer. So let's have a look at this. So first thing I'm going to do here, this is the standard access, okay, and you probably saw me connecting to this many times, so I'm gonna do it here just to show you that it's the same. So what you want to do here is this. You want to see the Server Explorer over here. This will allow you to connect to the database. You can connect to it using the Server Explorer, or you can connect to it by creating a data set here. So here I'm gonna say add, and now I'm gonna say, where is it, a new item. Okay, and here select data, and I'm gonna use data set, and I'm gonna say add. Okay, now so here I added a data set, but there is no database to add, right? There is no table. So what I could do, I could click here, sorry, yeah. So when you might get this window. I'm gonna click change, and here you can see there are many different types of databases you could connect to. So in this case I'm gonna use access database file. I'm gonna say okay. I'm gonna browse and select desktop here and select this one, open, and test the connection, hit OK. Okay, and yeah, I believe it's I believe it's this one, right? So I got this one. You drag it and drop it here, and do you want to copy the data file? I could copy this one. I'm gonna link to it now. I will build this project. Okay, and obviously if you go to this application config, you will find there is where is that? This is the connection string, which tells you where the database is. This is the first thing. The second thing is that this object, this control or data set one, your data set, well, this one has a number of adapters and other objects inside it that is designed to work with access only. Okay, so if you are using the designer, it's not easy to switch it to another type of database. You have to redo the steps. So just for the sake of example, I'm gonna show you, just to show you this one. I'm gonna say view here. Wait a second. Data sources. Okay, so data sources is different from Server Explorer because these are data sources available to our project. I'm gonna drag and drop it here, and there we go. So now if I run this, you should be able to see the information. Okay, and this was relatively easy. Now what we want to do in order to answer the question is how to link to SQL Server, let's say. So it's gonna be the same thing. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna say add a connection. So now I'm gonna change this. It's gonna ask me what kind of database do you want to connect to. Now you might get confused. You have SQL Server, you have compact SQL Server, and SQL Server database file. Okay, and this one is it will be very SQL Server database file is very similar to Access. There will be a file included with your project. So we could try to work with that, and it's gonna ask me for the file. Okay, first I'm gonna create the file. Let me see here. I'm gonna right click, select add new item. I'm gonna select local database. Okay, so when you select this one, you can see an empty SQL Server compact 3.5 database for local data. This is a database file. Okay, this is a database file. So I'm gonna select add here. Okay, and I'm gonna say finish. That's it. Okay, so now we have, wait a second, so for this one I'm gonna say open. Okay, there we go. So now when you add it here in the Solution Explorer, you could find it here in the Server Explorer. Now it doesn't have any table. I'm gonna create a table right here. Okay, so this is gonna be A or Q, whatever. Okay, I'm just trying to make something for the test. That's it. I'm gonna say okay, and then I'm gonna show the table data just to insert few values. Whatever, something like that. Okay, so we have these. I'm gonna close it. Now notice that also as soon as I inserted this file, I created the data set. So now we have a different data set. Now this data set is empty also, and if I go to the data sources, you can see now I have wait a second, this one was not refreshed, right? So I'm gonna refresh it. Oops. Okay, so here I don't have the tables, so now I will drag the information from the second type of database and drop it here. So now what's the difference here is that this one is actually what? This one is SQL Server compact 3.5 database file, not Access. It might look the same, but it is not. Okay, so I will go to this guy here. I'm gonna minimize this one. Okay, and this is, I'm gonna drag and drop this one over here. Okay, no problem. So this is the second database. I'm gonna run this. Hopefully I won't get any error. Let's see. Okay, so you can see this is the information from the first table, and this is the information from the second table. This is from the first database, which is Access. This is from the second database, which is a SQL Server compact file. Now let's try to connect to another thing here. Now I'm gonna connect to another database here. Add a connection, change that. Now I'm gonna use a SQL Server. Now the difference between SQL Server and Access is that SQL Access and file-based SQL Server, you are using a file with your application. Usually the database is local, but for SQL Server you are going to access this server via network. Okay, so multiple people could access it. So here when I use it, or when you use it, you could see here I have multiple examples. I have here SQL Express. SQL Express usually is installed with Visual Studio, so your PC becomes a server right away. Usually you provide the server name followed the database name. Okay, and you can see here we have SQL Express 2008. Yeah, okay. So next you need to specify some authentication things. Here I am using Windows authentication because I'm accessing the server on my own machine. Okay, but if you are accessing the server that is on another machine, you might want to use SQL Server authentication. You provide a username and password created for you by the administrator and connect using that. Anyway, so I'm gonna use this one, and from this server you need to access the database. What does that mean? The server could have multiple databases, not one database. You could have many databases. Okay, so here in this case I'm gonna use what there's this master database, and you could test the connection, and the test is successful, and I'm gonna hit OK. So you could see here, have a look here now. I hope this is not very confusing, but okay, so you can see here this is SQL Express. Okay, and this one doesn't have any table, so now I'm gonna add a new table. Okay, and I'm gonna say what's column name, ABC, whatever. Okay, and DEF something here. Okay, so now here I'm having 3 columns. I'm gonna save these, and I'm gonna say SQL Express table, whatever. Okay, so I've got this one. I'm gonna close this, and now I'm gonna create another different data set. So right click and select add new item, and I'm gonna select data set here. It's gonna be data set 2. I'm gonna say add, and for this one I'm gonna drag and drop this. Okay, so this is another different type of database I'm connecting to, and next I'm gonna build a solution. Okay, so now we have these. Let's go back to our form. I'm gonna drag and drop this one right here. Nice. Okay, so we got the third table. Okay, before I run, I will fill some information. Okay, BB and CC, DD, EE, and FF. Okay, so some rubbish information here. And now I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna run the project and see how this goes. And check this out. Here, what do we have? This is the access. This is the SQL file, and this is a SQL server. Okay, so we did all of these using the same technique. Now, what other forms do we have? Well, on my PC, I use Postgres here. There we go. And here you can see that there is a schema called public, and there are many connections. So I'm gonna connect to that database. There is no driver that could connect to it right away, but let me try. Let me see. I'm gonna say change. What do we have? Let me see in the others option. Only SQL Server now. Data provider compact. Okay. ODBC. Let's see if there's ODBC that could work. I don't use the designer to connect to it. I use code, so that's quite a different thing here. So let's see what kind of a driver. All these are drivers that allow me to connect to the database, and you can see there are many drivers. So here, let's see, Office, an analytics service, data mining services, providing OLAP, Oracle, provider search, SQL Server, ODBC from Microsoft Directory Service. Okay, maybe this one will solve the issue here. You can see. Okay. Now here, enter server or file name. Basically, this is the same machine, so I hope I could connect to this right away. Location 127001. Okay, what's the password? Gosh, my problem is that I totally forgot the password for this one. I'm gonna say here, wait a second, login roles, So maybe I will create a new login role here. I'm gonna call this test, and the password test and test again. Okay, so this is gonna be test, and role and privileges, I'm gonna make it a super user here. Okay, can create database objects, blah 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 blah. Okay, and yeah, so test test test. I'm gonna say okay over here. So now we have user called test. So let's see, this is gonna be test, and this is gonna be test, and now saving password, test the connection, multiple step OLE operation generator for each ODBC state value check not. Okay, okay, I'm not sure, but I'm doing something wrong. So let me get to this one. Data source. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't use this one. Okay, so I used the wrong driver. I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna say add connection. I'm gonna change this. Now I will use ODBC. I'm gonna say okay, and let's see. Okay, Postgres. Okay, I did this one before. Okay, I did this one before using ODBC, Open Database Connectivity, but test. This is another one. Okay, and the test is successful. I'm gonna say okay. So let's have a look what we could do here. So here we have all these okay, we have all these tables. Okay, so in this case I'm gonna create another data set, add new item and data set, and by the way I will create an ODBC data source in a minute. I'll show you what that is. So here this is a table dual used by select object, contains sensitive information. Yes, okay, and build that, no problem. Okay, and I'm gonna close this and close this, and next I will drag this and drop it here. So this one's Postgres. Okay, no problem here. Okay, and now I'm gonna run this project. Hopefully it will work. Okay, now this one is having a value, and the value here is null. Okay, but you can see that's why you have two rows. Okay, so this is another one. This is how you connect to Postgres. Okay, now basically if you want to connect to any type of database, you will do these same steps. Now there's something here that you might want to do. If you go to the I connected to Postgres using ODBC Driver. Okay, and ODBC is used to define some kind of connection or a general type of connectivity to any data source. So I'm gonna try to show you how to set it up. So I'm gonna go to the control panel, and there should be ODBC 32-bit. There we go. Now before I continue here, have a look here. I have this Excel file. I'll try to connect to it. It has ABCD. So I'm gonna go to should I select user? Yeah, I think I could use user. Okay, so here I'm gonna select add here. It means I'm gonna add a data source or a connectivity to a database. I'm gonna say add here, and I don't see the option for Excel here. Okay, so this won't work here, right? So let me go to Excel files. I'm gonna say add, same problem. Okay, let's go to system. Okay, I'm gonna say add. What's the problem here? Maybe I will go to Fox Pro. Maybe test access, probably. Configure now. I don't have this option. I remember there used to be some kind of Excel. Okay, let me see the drivers. Okay, so so the problem I can't connect to Excel is because I don't have the required drivers. I need the ODBC drivers that communicate with Excel. Okay, so that's a problem. That's a real problem. What should I do to demonstrate this? Okay, maybe I will try to add something here. I'm gonna say test. This is a file called test. I'm gonna say A, B, C, D. I never tried this, but it should work. So I'm gonna say save. I'm gonna say add. Gosh. That's a problem. I'm sorry about this. I need to install Excel driver. But anyway, I believe you got the idea. Okay, so this is how you could connect to Access, SQL Server Compact, or a standard SQL Server, or a Postgres, or you could connect using the same technique to Oracle, MySQL, or any other type of database.